All right, hey everyone, Ms. Lynch here. This is a video for all classes, 1483 and 1493, and here are your research project instructions for the semester. Okay, so I told you guys a couple times already that we are going to be working on your research project, passion project, call it what you like, but basically I'm asking you to find something related to the history of your class scope. So if it's 1483, it's pre-Columbian history to the Civil War. If you're in my 1493 class, it is Reconstruction, which comes right after the Civil War through the modern era. So pretty much up till kind of like 2008 is where I end off, as you know. So whichever topic like falls into your time frame, that's great. And I am asking you guys, I've mentioned this a little bit, I'm asking you guys to keep your scope really within the frame of social history. So, social history, what is that? That is the history of society. So what's society? Society is made up of people, all right? So we're looking at the history of people, and that just means everyday individuals like us, okay? Everyone in our classes, it's the rest of us, okay? If you were chimed into class the other day, I kind of said that, but so yeah, it's history for the rest of us. So whatever your topic is, I just want you to keep it in the scope of the individuals that experienced whatever your topic is. If it's a war, think about it from the people involved in it, okay? Not just soldiers, but people at different locations, either on where these wars are being fought or back at home, okay? I want you to think, regardless of gender, cultural background, I want you to think across the board, okay? So, and I'll get into this more as we go, especially as I get into lectures, this will start to make sense. You'll get my kind of teaching style and what I'm asking of you guys. But for now, just think about from people's perspectives, okay? So, I am sending you, hopefully by now I have sent your research project instructions. So as I get going with the rest of this, go ahead and pull those up, and I'm gonna kind of go through it. So yeah, I don't know how to get that image up here and then do a voiceover, but so I'm just gonna leave it to you guys to scroll through that while I also speak. Okay, so if you need to, go ahead and pause this while you do it, that's fine. Okay, so moving right along, getting started. Your research paper. So as part of our studies this semester, you've been asked to develop a research project over a historical event of your choosing that will form a 5-page research paper. So first things first, I'm actually going to make this a 4-page research paper just because 2020 has really handed it to all of us. So that's kind of really the major change I'm making to this, is rather than 5 pages, it's now 4 pages. Okay, so social history, we will get into that as we go along, but please read through this because it breaks it down a little bit more. I won't read it just for time's sake. And then right below that, and because I'm teaching, or I'm speaking to all of my classes right now, I'm not going to give these actual dates, but I have the dates written down for all of these assignments, their due dates, which is also in your syllabus. But so that'll be up to you guys to look through and make sure you know when stuff is due. But basically, end of August will be our first step of this, which is your abstract. So within that, I'm asking you guys to give me a 1-page double-spaced paper telling me what you want to research, why, answer some of these questions that I have. This will kind of prompt you along. And then, yeah, so that's due at the end of August, and it's worth 100 points. But so please read through this on your own and just know what I'm really looking for. But so first step is to write your abstract. And then a couple weeks after that is due, so you'll turn it in, I'll give it back to you, you'll get my notes, and then you can go ahead and move on. And the next step is to write your outline. And this is going to be the framework for your research paper. So start thinking about your introduction, what's going to be in the body of your paper, the conclusion, all that jazz. Kind of read through this paragraph I gave you, and then the next page, as you'll see, is an example of an outline. So if you're not very comfortable doing them, if you've never done one, feel free to, you can copy and paste this and fill it out if you need that. But it needs to be filled in. It can't just be I need some details in there, all right? And then the conclusion, which, you know, as you're researching, obviously it's at the end, so you'll work on this probably towards the end. But so this is, these are some prompts that I want you guys to think of whenever you do get to your conclusion. So, and we'll talk about that later. But also you will need to do a bibliography. So here are a couple of examples. I'll talk about this more as we go, but so whenever you start to do your own bibliography, look at this. Go ahead and just get this up in front of you and use it for formatting, all right? There are generators that you can use online, but they don't often do it perfectly, and they're just kind of wonky things that happen. So just use this and just do it yourself. I think it's easier, truthfully. So your outline and bibliography, that's the next step. And then after that, I'll grade your outline, I'll give it back to you, and then you'll start working on a rough draft. So all of that stuff in your outline, you're just going to start writing it into sentences, okay? Fill it out. So your rough draft here, it says it's 4 pages, so it will be 3 pages since we're knocking off a page altogether. So read through the specifications for that. I've had students, whenever they look at this, they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? There's no details. But it's really just kind of standard essay style, okay? So just start writing it out. Every paragraph's 3 to 5 sentences, okay? And then I'll grade that, give you notes, and then we'll move on, all right? So then that takes us to the final draft of the research paper, which will be 4 pages, as I said. And going off of the notes that I give you from your rough draft, fix those things, polish it up. That's your final draft, all right? If you get a 100% on your rough draft, that does not necessarily mean that you're automatically going to get a 100% on your final draft, because the stipulations are different. Rough draft is 3 pages. I expect it to be clean but not perfect. Final draft is 4 pages, as perfect as you can get it, okay? So just because 100% on the rough draft does not equal same thing for final, okay? So, final research paper. It will be due at the end of November, so we will not be meeting in person anymore. I will either have Dropbox up by then, we'll see, or we're just gonna email stuff in as PDF attachments, which will probably be the way that we go, because I think that that's just kind of easier when it comes down to it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But so final draft will be due at the end of November. And with your final draft, I'm gonna ask that you make a lovely little PowerPoint presentation to send to me to go along with your final paper. And so, let's see, what did I put here? So your final presentation will be worth 100 points, be due with your paper, should be summarizing your research, so it doesn't need to be anything new or extra, okay? Use your paper as your resource. Okay, so minimum of 12 slides, and I broke down, so it's like title slide, intro, 3 slides of the body, conclusion, some images, and then your bibliography. So nothing too wild, just like I said, take all your stuff in your research paper, make it into a PowerPoint. And I would love it if it had some sort of theme in a way to kind of relate to your topic. Not mandatory. I am not one to sit here and judge by any means, because you can see what I am capable of doing. So, but if you can do it, it's awesome and I love it. So there's that. And then I said it'll be submitted via Dropbox, but we'll see. So, ending that, as you can see at the very bottom in all caps, I have said, you got this, because you guys have got this. It might feel a little overwhelming at first because this is lots of things, but like I said, it's all building off of what you've done. And you really do one thing, I give you feedback, and then you go off of that, and then I give you feedback. So it's going to take all semester, but it's cool. It'll be fine. I don't know if you can hear that, but that was my stomach growling. Okay, so that's kind of it for the research stuff for now. If you guys have questions, email me. I ask that you read through these instructions like at least 3 times before you reach out to me, because there's a good chance that you'll find your answer in there. And then also I'm going to start working on a FAQ page for this, just to kind of help resolve some basic questions that, you know, I can go ahead and just answer, and whenever you guys need that, it'll just be there. So, but if there's anything that I do not answer that you absolutely cannot find in here, go ahead and email me and I will get back to you. So, I think that's it for now, and I will get back to you guys. All right, take care. Bye.